Okay, the rap girlies. So, I wanted to make a podcast episode and I wanted to talk about the the girls who are hot right now, my opinion of them, and just kind of where I stand with pretty much the rap or hip hop girls right now, specifically black girls for the most part, because we love black women. And yeah, I'm gonna start with Chloe and Halle, and I'm gonna start with Chloe. Chloe, I love, first of all the rap girlies. I pretty much love everybody. I don't think there's anyone that I just don't like. If anything, I even listen to these people's music. I follow them on Instagram and everything. I may not be a huge stan and a fan like that, but I pay attention and they keep my attention and I like what they're doing to some degree. But we'll get into that later on. So Chloe Bailey, of course, everybody is over here saying, oh, she does too much. Oh, she's too sexual. She does too much. And in my opinion, I love it. I mean, of course, I think there's a lot of people who just say, like, I love it. Keep doing you. That's who she is. And the thing is, I feel like that's her personality. I feel like that's just her personality. She's just kind of an extra person. If you ever known people who have that kind of personality, in my opinion, it's usually like Virgos and Leos. But I mean, it could be anyone, honestly. That's just your personality. You just like to do the most, and with Chloe, it's any and everything she does the most, and I love it. I'm here for it. My mom is like that. I'm honestly here for that. And for the people who tell her to tone it down, maybe you're not doing enough. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just feel like that's her personality, and the fact that she probably goes through crossroads. She probably deals with this within herself. Like, am I doing too much? Like, what should I do? Like, but honestly, I get a sense that this is just simply her personality. It's not her trying too hard. It's just how she is. And I think that a lot of people confuse that. Oh, she's trying too hard. No, it's just who she is. And that's my opinion. Even when you looked back on Chloe and Halle, especially when they came out with their latest album, Ungodly Hour or something, which I really don't love that album title or that title or whatever that is. I don't really love that, but the album is good, but you could tell that she was more kind of into her performances than Halle, and I noticed that a lot. If anything, even at the time when they were together, I was just like, they're going to do something separate. There's going to be a time where Chloe's probably going to break off, or, because I noticed that she's just way more into her performances than Halle. But I could be wrong. I mean, you just have to go back and look at the performances. Halle seemed a lot more laid back and a lot more just kind of like reserved in her performances. But Chloe was just out there just, doing the most. So that was even before she came out with Have Mercy and did her own solo thing. If you really paid attention, it may not have been super sexual or anything, because of course anything that's hypersexual gets way more attention than anything that's maybe just a little more tasteful. But I noticed it even back then. But otherwise, I love Chloe. I love what she's doing. I prefer her to be extra. I don't want her to dim her light. I don't want her to listen to the haters. I think that could get her very far in her career, just by being different and standing out and being that person that does the most. Everyone shouldn't be the same. Everyone shouldn't be just low key and like whatever. But let's move on. Halle, her sister, which I remember when I first found out about Halle, and like, it's so funny how I confuse her with Halle Berry. But anyway, no, Halle Bailey, I love her too. And this was no diss to her, and this is also not comparing them. Sisters you know, you love them as a set, but of course they're also individuals, and you have to love them individually because they are two separate people. They're not even twins. They're just sisters. They're probably a year or two apart, but still. So Hallie, I do love her separately and individually. And I do think that some way down into their career, years down the line, they will have more of a distinguished separation between them two. I think that people are still kind of comparing both of them, and they may still be compared for the rest of their lives just because of their sisters, but to some degree, I think that comparison will further more and more the more that they further doing their own individual things. Maybe they'll have developed, different styles along the years and stuff like that. Hallie seems a lot more shy and reserved, but I love it. I love that kind of personality as well. I love shy people. I love quiet people. I love low-key people as well, as much as I love people who are out there and extra and all of those things. And I think that is a cute dynamic with the sisters, is that they're not both just have the same personality, They kind of do, but they kind of don't, And I love how supportive they are towards each other, And I hope that the world and the industry and the internet and haters don't get in between that sisterly bond that they share with each other, or try to compare them, or things like that. I'm so excited to see The Little Mermaid because we're not going to talk about that controversy with her playing Ariel. I think someday I actually want to make a whole podcast episode about Disney and Disney princesses and just that whole world over there, because I do have a bone to pick with Disney when it comes to certain things, and Disney princesses and stuff like that. But anyway, I do love, this. The project's already been made, honey. The movie's already finished. So it's coming out. She's our new Ariel, and that's cool. And I'm excited for it. Mostly excited for her voice. She's definitely highly qualified voice-wise. And that is something I haven't spoke on yet, is their voice. Their voice, to me, is on a different level. They sound like sirens. They sound like freaking angels at times. Like, they have some of the best voices in the music industry right now, if not the best voices right now as far as the mainstream girlies. Outside of Ariana Grande, I mean, Ariana's in her own lane, and I wouldn't consider her one of the new girlies anyway. But outside of Ariana, they have some of the best voices in mainstream, music right now. And I would love for that to be showcased a lot more in the future. I think I need to move on because I'm kind of like, but I love both of them, the sisters, and I'm excited to see what they do in the future. And also, Chloe, come out with some more music. We have Mercy. You've been riding the wave, but come out with more music, and then we can really decipher where you're trying to go and what you're trying to do, and so there's that. Next, I want to talk about Doja Cat. Doja Cat is literally my favorite of all the girlies, the mainstream girlies right now. Doja Cat is simply my favorite. I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it. I mean, I would say what's not to love about her, but look, she also has that kind of personality that I adore, and her personality is more so like just absurd, just crazy, like just crackhead energy. Just, I can't even explain it. Like, her sense of humor is something else. I'll say that. Just take a look at her Twitter. Just take a look at any of her social media, but especially her Twitter. Her Twitter is wild. Like, she just tweets any and everything, just very absurd nonsense. But it's also funny how she's that, but she's also very professional, but she's also the top girly. She's dominating. It's so funny that there are two sides of her. Really, there's lots of sides to her, but I just thought that was really, really funny how someone so mainstream can be so, like, at times taking no, not seriously at all. Like in some ways, she, you know, you try to decide, should I take her serious on social media at least? But when she's performing and when she's, you know, in the music video, she is a whole professional. She is crazy. It is crazy. Um yeah, I love her the most because of many reasons. Her personality, one, you know, she's very funny. She's very quirky. She has an interesting, very, you know, internet type of sense of humor. But also, I love how she is very, what's the word? She seems kind of like a perfectionist when it comes to her work, you know, which is very interesting because Doja Cat is also very weird. It's interesting to me to see Doja Cat's growth. I remember when she had that song So High, you know, I was listening to that song years ago, and I would have never thought that that girl was going to be the biggest, highest thing, you know, right now. Of course, I see a long longevity in Doja Cat's career as long as she keeps going. And I know that's kind of controversial to kind of expect her to keep going in her career when she has expressed how tired she is, how much she wants a break. I think it's just a back and forth kind of thing with her. I think that she's tired at times, she's burnt out at times. When you're the one of the biggest stars, you know what I'm saying, you are in incredibly high demand. And, you know, people don't realize how much goes into being a celebrity, how much goes into being a household name, you know, how much, you know, the recording music and you know, photo shoots and music videos and going to award shows and performing and practicing for performing and practicing for tours and live shows, and just there's just so much. And that's not even, you know, meetings and, you know, fittings, you know, like there's so many little intricate details, you know, spending hours in makeup and hair, you know, like there's so many intricate details that go into being a celebrity, and the time that you have to put into to maintain being relevant and, you know, being so in demand. It can be really hard, especially probably when she's used to, you know, not having to do so much. And she still had her music career because she kind of just now blew up, but she's not used to how it is now. Because, you know, I think it'd be different, and she would feel different if, you know, she just became famous all of a sudden. Like the first year she came out with music, she became famous, and she would be able to adjust to that much quicker than, you know, oh, I had a music career for a whole like 5 years before this, and I was chilling, you know, like, and now things are crazy. Like you know, but I also think Doja Cat's performances are next level. Doja Cat is definitely one of the best performers that we have in mainstream music right now. I mean, you can tell she puts a lot into her artistry and her, you know, even the choreography and stuff. It's just, sometimes I just see random clips pop up on YouTube of just random stuff she does at her live shows, and I'm like, nobody is doing this. Nobody is doing it like Doja Cat. Like, she takes her stuff to the next level. She really embodies her music when she's performing. She really just, you know, lets it take control of her body. Like, I just love what she's doing, you know. The weight loss thing, I think that she still looks good. I think that she looks good whether she's, you know, more plump or whether she's more thin. Who cares about people's size? I know that she does capitalize off of her image and off of being the thick girl, but she's still kind of thick, you know. She's not just super skinny. She still got booty, you know, like she still, you know, looks curvy. So even if she didn't, though, like, it is what it is. You know, people's bodies change all the time and whatever. Let's move on. Next, I want to talk about Megan Thee Stallion. I'm not going to say too much about Megan. I do love Megan, but I don't know. I mean, of course, there's this whole discussion that, oh, she keeps making the same kind of music, and I definitely agree. But I mean, everybody does. In some ways, everybody makes the same kind of music, and that's what mainstream music is. And this is kind of a reason why I don't really like mainstream music, is because it's all kind of the same. It's about love, it's about relationships, it's about, sex, it's about money, it's about playing dudes and finessing dudes and stuff. I mean, how many times can you talk about something that's pretty much the same thing, but you're just trying to add different bars to it? How many times can you do that until it becomes just stale? I don't know. But I can't really fault Megan when that's that's the blueprint right now, like, how can you fault? She could try to do something different and may flop, it may not do as well. I mean, she's came out with other stuff and it hasn't done as well at times. I don't know. I had a friend that was telling me, like, her freestyles are better than her music. And that's tea right there. I'm not going to go any further into that, but I do love her freestyles. I think she's a very talented rapper. Of course, she can rap. See, the thing is, a lot of these girlies are doing way better than these dudes out here. The dudes are the ones that are like hella mediocre and hella just low energy and not really doing much. But the girlies, we have to do so much to stand out, to be talked about, to be noticed, So Megan, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I love her. I love what she does. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much to say right now about Megan, in my opinion. Next, I want to talk about City Girls. It's so funny how at one point in time I thought the City Girls was not going to make it. I feel like they've been through some stuff between JT going to jail, for like, I don't even know how long, a year or two. And I think that was very, very amazing how Young Miami really held it down for the both of them when JT was in jail. Because how? You know what I'm saying? You're just going to hold down a whole group by yourself, and still they were able, I don't think people give that enough recognition. Like, there was a point in time where we didn't really know JT that deep. Young Miami had to really hold it down and really be the face for City Girls for a while when they first came out. And then now JT's just back like she never left. Like, I just think that's crazy, like, I thought to myself, like, how is that going to work? Then, I want to call her Carisha so bad. Young Miami, she got pregnant again, so now she has 2 babies. But hey, a pregnancy, babies ain't gonna stop you. Especially, we realize now in the industry, children does not have to stop you as a woman. And we see that now more than ever. In so many ways. Having children doesn't mean like, oh, I'm retired by now, or I have to wait to do that, or my career is over because I had kids. No, you can definitely have your kids, leave them with mom and grandma, when you got to travel and do things and do what you got to do to provide for your family, like, it's fine. I think that shows the strength that they have in their group. I also just kind of felt like, oh, they're gonna flop. They're flopping with some of their hits. Act Up was the best that they had at the time, but no, they're definitely coming back. I'm definitely loving what they're finding their way back into. That's another thing with the City Girls. They gonna find their way back, on top. They gonna find a way to be talked about, again, after flopping or whatever. I love what they do for the girlies. I definitely feel like they are definitely giving off that kind of vibes of finessing men and that we deserve more as women and stuff like that. I love that with their first album. That was pretty much the theme of that album. And I love that because some women, I think, to some degree need to hear that. I think a lot of men would have something negative to say about it, but I think that some women, especially young women, but any woman, really needs to hear that at times. Like, like you have something valuable that men want. So therefore, you don't just need to be giving it to any man, like he needs to pay for it, or he needs to wine and dine you. He needs to buy you things, he needs to step up if he really wants something from you. Or else just move on to the next girl, because definitely there will be men that are willing to do these things for me. And I think that for women, like I said, we need to hear those messages and to know that not only women can do this, but black women can do this. Dark-skinned black women can definitely be wined and dined, be treated well. And we also see that not only does it translate, just not only are they rapping about this, but it translates into their real life. You see Lil Uzi Vert just whining and dining JT. You see Young Miami just leveling up each relationship she gets into. She leveled all the way up to Diddy. You know what I'm saying? He's, like they're actually living what they rap about. And I think that that's really cool and admirable in some ways, like I said, I'm sure there are people that will have some negativity to say, but in some regard, I feel like it's an unspoken thing that different women do, but it's just unspoken. But we tend to be more, we speak up about it a lot more, and then people want to come for the black women, when white women have done this for decades, when Asian women have done this for decades, when Mexican women have done this for decades. Like women of other cultures always have done this. They just haven't been super outspoken about this. But once black women decide that we want to do this and we deserve this too, people want to have stuff to say. But just let them talk. Because like I said, there's always someone who's willing to do it for you. There's always men that are willing to, spoil you and give you what you deserve. So the ones that don't want to do it or can't do it, go and be with someone else. You're wasting my time. There's billions of people in the world, what I'm saying? Anyway, who's next? Who else is out there? Because I actually don't even remember right now. And I'm not going to speak on people who are not that mainstream, honestly. Okay, let's talk about Lizzo. Oh, okay. We're going to talk about Lizzo, then we're going to talk about Normani, and then we're going to talk about Saweetie. Lizzo, I've grown to love Lizzo.
Mommy, you need to get me ready because I'm going to go outside with my granny.
Okay, hold on. I've actually grown to love Lizzo. I didn't think I liked Lizzo as much as I do. And it's not necessarily her music. I mean, yes, I love her music to some degree. It's not my favorite music in the world, but I definitely think she's talented music-wise, and she does make good music, decent music. It's not just, oh my gosh, thought-provoking, amazing, like just, win all the Grammys. But it definitely has a positive message, what she has made her music about. And definitely need to hear more from her. I think she's finna drop soon anyway, so that is good because she's been riding her wave for a long time as well. Like the Good as Hell wave, the whatever. It's so funny how that album she came out with, almost all the songs on that album were kind of hits, or they were. I would hear them in commercials. I would hear them like, on the radio or like just in real life a lot, even well after the album, like a year after the album came out. I'm like, I'm still hearing her songs and like commercials and movie and trailers and stuff like that. Like, what's going on? Like, she's just been riding that wave. But another thing she's been riding the wave of is just simply her personality. I adore Lizzo. I could see myself being friends with Lizzo in real life. There's not many people that I feel like I could actually be friends with in real life, but I think Lizzo is a definite person that I feel that I can actually vibe with and be friends with, and maybe that's why I love her so much. Like, she's just so raw and real, and let people talk about her weight, let people talk about how she carries herself at times. But I love it. I think she's so cute. She definitely has a cute face. I love how confident she is, and I do think that someday she's gonna lose the weight. I really think that someday she may not just go down to a size like 4 or something like that, but I think someday she will lose some weight and, look, a little bit different. And I think that a lot of people are gonna like feel some type of way about that. Like with anybody who loses weight, they don't want them to be happy. I think that's in the cards for Lizzo because she definitely can afford it. She could definitely afford to get lipo. She could afford the best nutritionists and just anything. If she really, really wanted to take that step, I think that she could if she wanted to. We're not going to talk about the industry and how they push certain agendas on people. We're not. That's not the conversation that we're going to have right now. I just know that I love Lizzo. I'm excited for new music from her. I know she kind of likes to talk in her music about positivity and stuff, but I would like to see her make music about, being sassy and being that bee and being like kind of something that reflects her personality a lot more, like being a baddie and like, stuff like that. I don't know. I didn't really love that single Rumors. So there's that. But yeah. Next, I got to go quickly. Then I want to talk about Normani. There's not much to say about Normani that's not already been said. So I don't really know what else to say. Of course, I think she deserves more. But once again, what can I say that everyone else hasn't already said? Because I agree with what everybody says. I'm excited to hear new music from her. I'm excited to just see what she's going to do in her career. People say like, oh, look, she still has time. She's still young. She still has time to be out there and to, come out with more music and this and that, everybody isn't super established anyway, like everybody else that is, you could say, her counterparts. Nobody's truly super established of the new girlies anyway. This is literally a new era, a new wave where even Doja Cat, which is, like I said, my favorite of them all, she's still kind of in her new kind of, phase, she still isn't just super established quite yet. This is why I don't want Doja Cat to really take a break quite yet, because she's still not super established in my eyes, but maybe that's just me. So that's why I feel like Normani still has time. I mean, the time is now, please release music this year, but I just feel like people are so hard on her when everyone, like, just give her time. And I know that there are things going on behind the scenes, and I can't sit here and give my own theories or speculation or this and that. So at the end of the day, I'm just rooting for Normani. Once again, Normani is a top tier performer. She definitely, if Normani was really brought to the forefront, nobody would be able to compare to her performance-wise. Like, I would feel like nobody could compare to Normani performance-wise, even Doja Cat. And I think Doja Cat is very good performance-wise. But I think that Normani, if she had the opportunities that Doja Cat had, she would actually be, outshining everybody. But that's just my opinion. Because who else can do a backflip on the stage? Who else can, do the things that she be doing? Like, literally nobody. Not even Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to say she's better than Beyonce or she's a better performer. I'm not necessarily going to say that. I just think that certain techniques that she can do performance-wise is very, very admirable. Is very, very, like something that most people can't do. It reminds me of Britney Spears when she first came out. Like, she would do a backflip on the stage. She would do crazy stuff dance-wise. And nobody could compare to that, like nobody else was able, was that trained of a dancer to be able to do that, And so I don't know if you hear my son crying in the background. I promise you I will get to it. That's why I'm trying to finish this up. Lastly, I want to talk about Saweetie. Once again, what is there to say that everyone else hasn't said? I think that she is trying. I definitely think she's trying. I think she's trying her best, as far as being a musician, being a rapper. I really think she is actually trying. And that's the thing that sucks, is that she's trying her best, but her best isn't necessarily good enough. She definitely, she there's definitely pretty privilege and light skin privilege and stuff like that going on. A lot of people are like, oh, you would be better as just like an influencer or like a model or, something like that. Oh, she's very good at marketing, blah, blah, blah. Agree. I agree with all of those things. But if she wants to do music, let this girl do music. You know what I'm saying? If she she has the opportunity to do music. And I just say, quit trying to bully this girl out of just completely doing music. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really don't want her to be a rapper, then just let her flop. Like, just let her flop so much to where she just doesn't want to do music anymore. Because I do think that she has kind of a desire to do music. She's coming out with this Pretty Bee music album. So I think quite a few people are probably going to drop this year, which will be very interesting. Some people who really need to drop, it's been a minute since they have dropped something. That's why I'm really kind of looking forward to this year. It may be a pretty interesting year as far as new music from people. But, I think that Sweetie, I think she's starting to get a little bit, I hate to say the word cringy. I hate to say it, but in some of her actions that she does, one thing I've always thought to myself, like, why do pretty girls like ugly guys? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, there are so many handsome men in this world, like, why does she like ugly guys? Like, period, like, I don't know, like, like Quavo, like, nah, Lil Baby, nah. You sitting here getting mad over Lil Baby? Lil Baby? Come on. And I know it's not always about looks, it's also about money. But there are people who have more money than these people. Get you a business guy. You know what I'm saying? Stay away from industry dudes anyway. Stay away from these rappers. They are not husband material anyway. And they have proved it time after time that these rapper guys really are not husband material. Cardi B's hanging on by a thin wire. She's trying to protect her marriage at all costs. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like these rapper dudes are just not husband material. And I don't understand why. Even Kylie, you know what I'm saying? Kylie could have had anybody. I will make a separate video about Kylie Jenner. She could have had anybody. She got with Travis Scott. He's obviously not husband material. He's baby daddy material. These rappers are definitely baby daddy material, but they're not husband material. And when will these people, these girlies realize that? You're expecting a husband from a man who is in a kind of industry where women are throwing themselves at them and they're going to take the bait eventually. They're going to get tired of you after a while and they're going to, fall into
Mommy,
that lifestyle. And so eventually...
I'm going to say, get the dishes.
Okay. Well, as you can see... This was not the best time to film, but I'm going to have to wrap this up.
Get the dishes right now.
Okay, so this is very aggravating. I'm just going to wrap this up because things are getting very heated. Anytime I really actually try to sit down and do something productive, things happen. So even what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wrap this up. So I will have to just end this here and talk to you guys later because it's incredibly embarrassing. So anyway, I will have to wrap this up. All right, bye.